Today, our special guest is Mr. Martin Harris.
Hi.
Hey, Mr. Harris, how are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. Happy to talk to you. I see a litany of interesting credits in your IMDb, and most notably probably is your work on Superman. I saw in theaters, which was great. And
thank you.
Yeah. We always ask actors who come onto our podcast how they got into the job. I think that you are a special case because you're not from America, correct?
Well, not from America, but at this point, most of my adult life is here. So even if I'm not, I wasn't born here. 17 years living in California, and before coming to the East Coast for years while doing my previous job before acting, and being an American citizen. That's at this point I feel like I feel American because most of my adult life was here.
Yeah. I mean, that's just as much of an American as anybody else. But hear the story of how you came over here, and did acting bring you over here, or was there another reason?
No, I didn't start acting until my 30s. I was looking for my place in life. I did a couple of different ventures successfully, I must say. I've been, first I was a musician in a band, then the band ceased to exist. So I started writing and reporting about rock music back home. And then that took me to sports journalism. That's what I did in my 20s.
Oh, wow.
I specialized in the NBA basketball. So media from Poland would send me over here once or twice a year to do the NBA stuff. And that's how I met Kobe Bryant.
Oh, wow.
And in 2007, I had a conversation with him, and I told him about my plans to possibly move here and go to acting school and try something new. And asking for advice, he said, I was 31 at that time.
Yeah.
He said, what is your heart telling you? I said, my heart is telling me to try. He said, then always follow your heart. So I did. So I moved to LA, went to Stella Adler Academy, and I started trying to get on films and TV.
Hey, that's a great story. So did you get any roles or any work before you started acting, like going to schools, or did you was it synonymous? How did that work out?
No, I did not. I was still trying to go. I was still going to games, trying to be like a freelance writer. It was hard. It was hard. It was definitely a change to go from full-time job to the comfort of my career that I used to have.
Yeah.
To the new career, especially that once people found out in my previous job, what I'm trying to do, they didn't think I'm being serious. They thought it's I don't know, midlife crisis or something like that.
Yeah.
So it took some adjustments, and for me also, it's been a rocky road at the beginning because obviously like everybody else, first year or two you're super hyped, and then comes the realization that it's a very difficult, tough business, that it's hard to even make money as an actor, especially when you start.
Yeah.
So I started doing stand-up comedy, and then I started working as a producer, and I had my own show at the Comedy Store that actually in a way was my ticket to getting my first agent manager and getting on my first TV roles. But then I didn't want to get stuck in that world. So I decided to focus mainly on acting. And then in 2020, when I started working more consistently, I decided to focus just on acting. But that also was inspired, unfortunately, by passing of Kobe Bryant. I saw him 3 weeks before he died.
Oh, yeah.
And then when he died, I realized, I have to honor him by really committing to one thing as he did in his life. Like he was great in what he was doing, mainly because he put everything on a plate, and I need to do the same thing, and I did. Yeah. And then two months later, there was a pandemic, and but you know what? Pandemic actually was life changing for me as a positive, because I feel like people are not aware about that the film business has to continue, has to thrive, and there were a lot of opportunities that people didn't take, or maybe there was a slightly little less competition.
Okay.
I found 2021 game changer for me. I got on most of my I would say, game-changing jobs in 2021, like Stranger Things,
Oh yeah.
Amsterdam, Better Call Saul, Greyman. So the 2021 year gave me hope that there is a career for me in this business,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
fully, like doing just that, doing
Yeah.
just that. So
if we didn't have media, I don't know how we would have survived COVID, to be honest with you. Be- encourage-
That's
yeah. Encouraging people to stay in their house and just watch TV or something instead of, going crazy, going outside. So I want to ask you, since you had a pretty steady job as a sports journalist, it sounds like, did you have to take risks? Did you have to tell people no to pursue a risky business venture into acting?
to say no in what way?
Like, did you turn down, money? Did you turn down some?
Oh yeah,
some
that's my two jobs. I work for TV and I work for a newspaper. I had to leave both jobs, because those were full-time jobs that I left. Yeah.
Did you have a plan pretty well, or did you just say, nope, this is it? I'm gonna say no to everybody, and whatever I have in the bank is what I have until I start making money with acting.
Yeah, when you start, and I'm trying to remember, because obviously, the way you think when you start in this business, the way you think when you come to a different country, and doing something else for your entire life, your perspective changes. It's different now. I'm more aware of what the business is, even changing business, like moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
As I'm more aware of where I'm at, and what is the path, and what's better to do, what not to do. Like I could work every day as an actor, doing some films that I don't want to do, or some acting jobs that I don't want to do. I could do it, if I didn't care about the quality and about the big plan, like what types of projects I want to be associated with.
Okay. So
so when you start, you obviously think, oh, I'm gonna make millions of dollars in a year or two. Of course,
Right.
You think that way.
Right.
It's that easy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's easy. It's like, come on, like how they can resist me? I'm the best.
Yeah. It's still
I'm the next Jean Reno or whatever. Javier Bardem.
Yeah, Javier Bardem. Yeah. I wish I had the bravery to just put my life to the side and pursue something like that. But I don't know.
I'll tell you this. The fact that I wasn't really into films and into acting, into show business until like my late 20s, when I remember what happened was I was into sports like full time, 24/7, and then one of the newspapers that employed me collapsed, and they paid us 6 months in advance and sent us home one day.
Okay.
And I didn't know what to do. So on my way home, they had a little store, and the publisher released like a collection of 20 greatest films of all time. And with all that money, I had my new apartment that I just bought in Warsaw.
Okay.
And I decided, now for the first time in 10 years, I'll have time. So I'm gonna, I don't know, watch movies. People say movies are fun. I was 29. I never watched any movies in my life, except of James Bond movies.
James Bond.
So I decided to buy this collection. I went home and I got hooked on it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
because finally I had some time. It's like some people go on vacation for the first time in a long time and they fall in love with like a local girl in Brazil or Dominicana, and they marry them and bring them home, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but it's like the summer love, the vacation love, because finally they're like relaxed and they don't have to worry about work stress, because they're busy with work, then go on vacation, they fall in love with a local girl. That happens a lot.
Yeah.
So it's the same. It was the same here. I was like busy for 10 years doing all the sports writing, sports reporting, sports broadcasting. Finally, I have some time for myself. Okay, let's try something else.
Yeah.
Here it is.
That's a really cool story. We were surrounded in America, everybody's growing up just like students of media, of film, and see somebody come in kind of late to the game, but appreciate it so much that they're going to devote their life to it. That's really inspiring.
Yeah, I remember one of the first auditions I had, and I had total confidence, much higher than I even have right now. When first year, I felt like I'm going to be great. I remember I went for one of my first auditions, and it was for a cowboy in a Western movie. And they needed a guy who speaks with a Southern accent. And I just came from Poland. So I watched some John Wayne. I go to the audition and I'm like,
Yeah.
Hey, baby boy, come here. And everybody started laughing, you know.
I thought that was Mitch. I could have sworn that was Mitch talking for a second.
I just have a natural Southern accent.
All right. All those ladies in the bar, you know, and people laugh.
Well, hey, again, back to your IMDb stuff. So your first like consistent gig, was that NCIS? Is that what you were saying for the TV show?
No, the first was The Last Ship. That was the one when I worked at the comedy club and I booked it.
Yeah.
It's a funny, scary story behind that. So I didn't because I was getting maybe one audition a year at that point. You know, I had like a very small agency that, you know, never could get me anything going. You know, I was used to just, you know, auditioning for like low budget horror films.
Yeah.
And suddenly I got this audition in person. I went, then it was a callback. I went again. And then they called me that I booked it and I'm going to work 11 days. Wow. And I couldn't find my green card. I lost it somewhere, you know, like the document.
Yeah.
And I had to work the next day.
Oh no.
So I'm panicking. I didn't sleep the whole night.
Yeah.
I went to the immigration office in downtown first thing in the morning, 7 a.m. And I said, I came here to get the copy of my green card. They said, yeah, good luck. You have to wait 2 months for that.
Oh, wow.
And I went on my knees and I said, please, I booked my first TV role. I have to have it or they fire me, you know? And you guess what? They put the stamp in my passport that day.
Oh, wow.
I begged them and they listened to me and they put the passport. Yeah. I took the taxi all the way to San Pedro, paid like $100.
Oh, wow.
And went on set and didn't sleep the night before, like I said. And that day, out of 11 days, was the longest day on set when I was like super hyper tired. I was 18 hours on set till like 6 a.m. the next morning.
Oh,
so so that was my first day of TV work.
Oh, hey.
And I didn't because I was so preoccupied with the green card thing. I didn't even learn my lines before coming to set. So I was learning them while filming, pretty much.
I'm sure a lot of people do that. and if anything, you know, lesson learned is a little bit of shameless begging can get you a long way. So, yeah. But
that was a great experience, though. That was a really great experience.
Yeah, that's a phenomenal. I love those stories of how people can find their way into it and just, you know, they hit a brick wall and they just find a way to fight through it. Those are great stories. After The Lost Ship, had you done any roles for a movie up to that point yet?
Yeah, in small films, you know, but funny enough, you know, it's like this is such a small world sometimes that Hollywood is, you know, like I've worked on really crappy independent films in 2010, 2011. But for whatever reasons, those were the same people because I just talked to them recently. Those were the same people. And those are great guys. They just do a super low budget films like for $10,000 or $20,000.
Yeah.
You know, one of those guys is actually worked at the same time when I was starting doing those low budget films. Mm-hmm. This guy was at the same time doing another low budget film with James Gunn.
No way. Okay. That's how.
Because he started in low budget horror films. Like Lloyd Kaufman, who was in some of those films, who's an iconic low budget horror movie star.
Yeah.
Ended up even in The Last Superman because he gave, I think, James Gunn his first job.
No way. That's awesome.
Yeah. So this is funny how it is all connected. You know, the director I work with, his name is Gregory Hatanaka.
Uh-huh.
Very talented director, very interesting director. But he did all, you know, like he preferred to do like a lot of films instead of like one really good one.
Okay.
So those films are like has potential, but there's something wrong with them. I just had this I just had this conversation 2 days ago, you know, with a friend of mine, James Duval, with whom I work at the time. Was a big deal because this guy was in Independence Day in Donnie Darko, but then he decided, you know, he's a true artist, so he likes to do a lot of like indie stuff.
Okay.
And he was in 2 or 3 of those films, you know, we filmed together. So for me, it was a big deal working with James at the time as a new actor, you know, and he was super, no egos, you know, one of the nicest people I've met.
Oh, that's great.
And yeah, but he he does a lot of those low budget films, which kind of I think hurt him a little bit in terms of big budget movies, you know.
Yeah.
But it's not my. Listen. I'm not the rep. I'm not the strategist. I also love working, love art. But I would say he's even more on this edgy indie side of things than I ever was. But for me, working with him was great because I've learned a lot from him. He's a very, very good actor. And so I did that, and then I did The Last Ship. And there was a moment after I did The Last Ship when The Last Ship came out, when I was, still working in stand-up comedy. I working at the Comedy Store and was my full-time thing.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, you know what? Now I know, because I have this credit, I have had this experience, that I'm not a failure. Even if I never act ever in my life ever again,
right?
I know I've done it. I did it. I came to Hollywood. I acted in Hollywood. Now I can do, because I was still doing sports writing. I wrote 2 books about basketball. I was still kind of torn inside up until 2020 what I really want to do, because I really wanted to do acting, but then the first couple of years were rough financially, so.
Well, let me.
Can I not? So there was a lot of doubts, in terms of direction I have to take. But those doubts went away after Kobe's passing. Yeah.
Yeah. But I wanted to come back to where you had your film experience and you were in front of a camera, especially on small, low budget indie films where it's kind of like a joint project together and everybody is helping everybody. And then you go to TV where it's very studio produced. You're an employee and everything's very regimented. Did you get that sensation? Was it a completely night and day experience working for TV as opposed to movie?
The difference in experience is different with every project. Some projects, like the Red Notice, for example, right before pandemic, I did with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Ryan Reynolds.
Mm-hmm.
So they had a big budget for that one, and they didn't really. I feel like they didn't really prioritize saving money.
Uh-huh.
I think they were very gracious with spending a lot. The hours were long. We didn't film for first 2 weeks at all because it was raining. They didn't want the rain in the scene.
Okay.
So I was pretty much there being paid and not doing anything. Paid a lot.
Yeah.
And those were long hours because they stopped for 2 hours in the middle of the day so Dwayne can do his workout in his truck.
Yeah, I've heard about that. Yeah.
So those were long hours.
Yeah.
We get paid overtime and everything.
Wow.
And then we filmed, and then they brought me back just for one day, flew in first class to get a different angle right before pandemic, the day before pandemic started, really.
Uh-huh.
So that's one experience. And then, you work with James Gunn on Superman, and he's we talk on the phone with his assistant for 2 months.
Uh-huh.
I get on set and everything is scheduled. Everything moves fast. He knows exactly what he wants. We do 1 scene, 2nd scene, 3rd scene. I've never seen anything like that working on a big budget film. We did 5 scenes in 1 day.
Wow. So it's all
some
about...
directors like to take their time.
Yeah.
Some, like David Harbour, I'll give you an example. David Harbour in Amsterdam.
Right.
Everything improvised pretty much. He had a script, but he would change a lot of things. He would throw ideas. He would try different things. He would literally throw lines to actors, Oscar-winning actors like Rami Malek, Robert De Niro. Now say this. Now say this line. Now say that line. And he would tell them the line to say.
Huh. So everybody does it a little bit different, and just kind of whatever sticks in the end. That's interesting.
So it's more this. It depends on the project more than is it TV or is it film. Right now, I think I'm sure some older actors that worked on in 80s or 90s, there was a clear difference between making TV or making film. I don't think it's that much of a difference right now.
Okay. Did you get a sense on Superman that this movie's going to be a part of something bigger? Was there some franchise, I wouldn't say limitations, but maybe some flagpoles that you guys had to be worried about? They were concerned of how this would lead into the next movie or anything like that?
We'll be right back.
Ever wondered what a rhythm-based stealth game with dinosaurs might look like? Or a farming sim in space with zombies? Welcome to the Gaming Blender podcast. I'm Matt, and with my co-host Scott, we take a random game genre and random game mechanics, blend them all up, and pitch wild, totally hypothetical games you've never heard of, and maybe shouldn't. New episodes every other week. Hit play and unleash your inner game dev. No coding required. Search the Gaming Blender on your favorite podcast app now.
Yeah, because it's Superman, of course. Like you're aware of the James Bond franchise and Superman franchise, that this is iconic. This is forever. This is like immortality in a way as an actor.
Absolutely.
Because those movies will be always watched forever and ever until people have TV at home, until there's streaming, until there's some other form maybe in the future that people will watch movies on. That we're not aware what it's going to be. But those movies will live forever as long as people watch movies. Maybe in 30, 40 years from now, people will be only watching short forms that are 10 seconds long on their phones. I don't know. Hopefully not.
They're doing it now.
Yeah. Yeah. But James Bond movies, Superman movies, they stay forever. And I just rewatched like 6 James Bond movies. This is actually my biggest dream. Superman was my second biggest dream.
Yeah.
My biggest dream is to be in James Bond movie. Yeah.
What's your favorite James Bond movie?
It changes. I think still Goldfinger I would say, gets the most in my head, most number one spots. Yeah.
So Sean Connery, he's the real James Bond.
He's not my favorite James Bond though, but he's my second favorite James Bond. Goldfinger is my favorite James Bond movie, but my favorite James Bond is Roger Moore.
Roger Moore,
really
interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why Roger
He's my
Moore?
favorite Bond. I don't know. For me, he's the character. He's James Bond. He's that guy. He's got this cockiness, this little stiffness that is very British stiffness, but he has this bitter sense of humor. Some of his one-liners are just hilarious.
Yeah.
And then I just rewatched Live and Let Die. Some of his one-liners
great soundtrack.
are incredible. Great soundtrack.
I wanted to ask you, because you have your accent, is that how you got casted in stuff like the voice of Kruger in Warzone, or a lot of military type generals and things like that?
Yeah, I'm able to switch. I'm able to speak different languages. That definitely is the case. I feel like probably starting next year, I'm going to work on my American accents. The thing is, if you do a lot of different accents, that doesn't help your American accent because you are just stuck in an accent kind of mindset. But it also gets you work, So it's like you have to pick and choose. It's like with auditioning, you can have a different strategy for auditioning. Would you rather always have a very good audition and deliver a very good tape, so they're like, oh, this guy's always good, but never book because there's always someone better? Or would you make like super bold choices that sometimes don't work completely, and it's like, this is ridiculous? But once in a while, there's a big job and you just stand out.
Yeah.
So it's either or, like I feel like in the last year, I actually have been acting the best in my life, but some jobs are almost booked, but I didn't book. Maybe because I didn't make as bold choices as in the past, where sometimes it just didn't work out, but once in a while it did. And that's all that matters.
Do you feel, just an honest take here, do you feel that some auditions are purely based off of talent and what the casting director is looking for, or do you feel like some people are kind of already set and they're just kind of going through the motions?
Please clarify, because I'm not sure what do you mean.
So, like, do you think that some people they cast and they already know who they want, but they're just pretending that they're casting?
I'm sure. I don't think they're pretending that they're casting. I'm sure that especially in the bigger parts, they want people that they know and that people know. That definitely plays a role, and having being with one of the biggest agencies, that definitely plays the role for sure. I know that's a fact. Yeah, definitely, 100%.
Okay, but
that's the way it works. It's.
You feel like there's ever been a role that you thought for sure you were going to get and you didn't get?
It's never for sure. Sometimes I feel like I just auditioned for a film that had a lot of Polish roles, and I was like, I have to get this one, and so far I didn't hear anything back, but I thought that I had like amazing auditions for it, and that I'm definitely right for one of those roles. But listen, they know better what they want.
That's
I can think. Yeah. I can think that I'm the best, but sometimes I also book roles that I didn't expect to book.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it.
You just have to kind of relax, I guess. It's hard, It's hard, but you have to.
We talked to some actors, and they say that you try not to get attached to a role before you're booked, and
even if you book.
Yeah, that's true. And they some people seem to struggle with like letting it go and then moving on to the next one. Like they thought they were perfect for this role or whatever, and they just can't, get over it. So it seems like you got a much healthier on-look for it. What about video games? I mean, how much of a difference between TV and movies and then into video games is that like?
Well, the biggest difference, they don't pay us residuals, and they should.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's just a one-time only.
Yeah, it's one-time fee. It's still a lot of fun. But those games are making so much money. It's like, come on, guys.
But it's mainly $20.
Yeah. And I'm very appreciative. I did another video game. I don't know if I can talk about that yet. I just did another video game, and I'm constantly auditioning for video games. It's fun. It's voice acting mainly, and most of it is voice acting. And I do a lot of voice acting in general.
Okay.
So this is also another platform where I can use my knowledge of accents, where I can use my knowledge of different languages, and it's a good additional career for sure.
Are there any video games that you're playing?
No, not really. I used to play a lot, but then I stopped because it was taking so much of my time. I remember I would play for weeks and really be not very efficient at. When I was still working in sports and sports media, I played sports games. I played NBA Live like a lot.
Oh, wow.
I played Football Manager a lot. And I get so hooked and addicted. I could just play sometimes for like 20 hours straight and just not sleep the whole night.
Well, you haven't played yourself in Call of Duty though, as Kruger?
No, I did not.
You got to, and then you got to be on the voice chat on the proximity, and then talk as Kruger for proximity and just mess with people.
That's okay. Me and Tom use that character all the time.
Yeah, I've played as you in that game.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that happened a lot. That was the first fan base I got, suddenly, because I wasn't even aware how popular the game was. I never actually played it in my life. So I've seen clips online, but I've never played it. But I didn't know how popular it is until it came out, and I started having followers on social media, on Instagram.
Yeah.
From who are fans of Kruger, fans of the game, and then on YouTube, people started posting my voice lines that got millions of hits. So that's awesome. It's a different world. It's a world that I didn't understand until very recently.
Yeah, I bet. And there's no motion capture for that. It was all lines, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, maybe there's more Call of Duty games coming out. You never know. So.
If it were me, like I'd do all my lines and then I'd go and play the game as myself. And I would say my lines, but I just slowly start to go crazy with it and just start mixing in random nonsense. And people are just like, I don't remember him saying that at all. Just to mess with the kids. I'm Tom, by the way. I've been here the whole time. And I'm, actor, producer. You're in all these things. Polish. You also headlined a heavy metal band?
Mm-hmm. You talked about
we talked about that?
Yeah.
I missed that part earlier.
That was at the very beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, at the very beginning, when I was 15, 16, 17, and I still have a huge love for music. And the one thing I started doing at the beginning of pandemic that kind of helped me fill the day, and I do it I'm almost finished with this project. So I started putting my favorite albums on Instagram, and then I decided to create a list.
Mm-hmm.
So at first it was supposed to be 100 albums, but now I'm at 9,700.
Whoa.
So,
that's a lot of albums.
So it's like mostly rock, progressive rock, heavy metal, hard rock, heavy music, and then I put like 5 each every day on my Instagram stories, and I save them all in my Instagram stories in archives, so people see it. With most of it have a sample of music, so it's like my private collection that I stored on my social. I'm not a huge fan of social media in general, but if I can make it useful somehow.
Yeah,
great.
absolutely.
So for me, the Instagram is the source of it's like my music library. I go to my stories and I check, I haven't listened to this for a while.
Yeah.
Great.
All right. What are your 5 favorite albums then? The top 5.
Well, definitely Pink Floyd, 3 out of 5 for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Has to be Pink Floyd. Then King Crimson. Then I would say Depeche Mode Violator should be there. It's hard to say top 3. I would have to give you like top 20. So I would, like in top 20, I'll tell you this. Definitely in my top 20 would be Pink Floyd metal, number 1. Dark Side of the Moon #2. I would say Animals, Wish You Were Here, and Animals, Wish You Were Here.
Talk about my
and
favorite band.
maybe Piper at the Gates of Dawn. That would be 5 from Pink Floyd. Then King Crimson. I would say In the Court of the Crimson King. Red.
Red's way better.
And The Lark Songs in Aspic. That would be my 3 from King Crimson. Then Yes, I would say Close to the Edge. Then Genesis. Probably Selling England by the Pound and The Lamp Lies Down and The Trick of Tale. Then Mind Bomb from Zvezda. That's not an obvious choice. Then Violator by Depeche Mode. Then Disintegration by The Cure. Caravanserai by Santana. Black Sabbath, Mob Rules, and Paranoid. Led Zeppelin, probably the second. And
wow, we could do
Physical Graffiti.
We could do a whole episode just on your favorite music.
Most of the albums he's mentioned I have downstairs in my collection. He's like Pink Floyd, and I was like, in my head, I was like, well, Animals, and then probably Momentary Lapse of Reason, then Wish You Were Here in the Wall.
Momentary Lapse of Reason, it's a very interesting. First was one of my favorite albums, and now I think it's their worst album, but still listen to it. I still listen to it. Yeah, I still listen to it because it's technically a David Gilmour solo album.
It really is, because they were able to bring him back as a legal action. Sorry, I'm just going to go off on a Pink Floyd tangent, guys. Just mind your business.
You know, I went to see them. I've seen them. I've seen them in 1994 in Berlin in their last tour. My dad took me for my 70th birthday, and it was in 200,000 people there.
Wow.
And it was amazing. Yeah.
Lucky.
What instrument did you play, or what did you do in the band when you had one?
A little bit of bass, but I was mainly singing and composing.
Oh, did you have that death metal growl?
No, it wasn't death metal. It was more like progressive metal. That was more like Pink Floyd. Pink Floyd meets Black Sabbath or Iron Maiden, something like that.
Oh, okay.
He's a prog rock kind of guy.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, prog rock, heavy metal. But you know, with age, I kind of explored a lot of hair metal, hard rock from the 80s. That's why I love Peacemaker, because it features a lot of that music. And I wish I had this chance to have this conversation with James Gunn, and hopefully I will at some point. Because we do like a lot of same music.
Yeah,
he's more into punk rock, hair metal, which I also like. It's not my first choice of music, but I like it, especially when I do workout or I need to energize myself. I like punk rock.
Yeah,
punk rock is cool.
There's few movies that I'll listen to and I'll be like, "That's a great soundtrack," and I'll download that soundtrack. But James Gunn seems to knock it out of the park every time with one of his movies. So.
100%. And Peacemaker has so much obscure hair metal and hard rock from the 80s.
Yeah, I love the new intro for the Peacemaker show. That's fun.
I like the old intro a little better.
Oh, I thought it was fun. I like the way they pile up on top of each
I haven't watched it.
You're not in Peacemaker, are you?
Not yet.
No, I'm not yet, but I want to be. Definitely.
Yeah.
I love this show. This show is so weird. So that's a strange show. Eagly, I'm a psycho fan of Eagly.
It's a great show.
As off the wall as Peacemaker is, they could definitely make a trip to the country that Superman, your character from Superman's in.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. What is that country called?
I hope so. Boravia.
Yeah, Boravia.
He could definitely make a trip over there.
What language do they speak in Boravia?
Croatian. It's a Boravian though. It's mainly Croatian. It's a Boravian.
I guess I have to come up with a fictional country.
With musical expertise and knowledge, and obviously your acting stuff, have you done any musicals? Are you trying to do a musical?
No, because musicals usually have crappy music in it.
That's right. So, good answer.
But what if somebody's just we're basically going to do like Spinal Tap, and like we want you, and you're going to be like the front liner of a band, and you're like, all right, I'll do it.
You know, I have a lot of really cool female friends in my life that I'm friends with, and they were deeply offended when I told them that I switched off, that I turned off my TV after watching 5 minutes of Wicked.
Oh yeah, not a big fan of Wicked.
I'm like,
you watched
not
5 more minutes than I did.
Not my music.
I just have I have a problem
with
musicals as it is. Like if you take out whether or not the music's good or not, you know. Just the fact that people are having a conversation at kissing distance and they just start screaming songs into each other's faces, it just seems very socially awkward, and it bothers me.
Because you can't do that anywhere.
Yeah, and everybody's in perfect choreography, and then when they're done, they act like nothing miraculous just happened.
that like 30 people did a whole dance routine and number, and like some guys like, you know, dancing on rooftops or something. It's like, what?
I don't have that level of suspension of disbelief.
See, that's a movie. Somebody who's in a musical who just doesn't get it.
That's called Shapoopy. They've already done it.
All right, never mind. Well, they can do like a modern rendition. All prog rock.
I used to date a girl that was addicted to Disney movie songs, and I'm like looking back, that had no chance of succeeding, that relationship.
Yeah, that's even worse because
you got out when you did.
Not only did they have musical numbers, but people spent time animating people to sing like they're actually singing.
Yeah,
that's even goofier in my head, but whatever.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, cool. So, are you done with the DCU? Have you gotten any callbacks for future?
I hope not.
Yeah, I hope not. Your character
didn't kill me.
Yeah,
they killed my president. They didn't kill me.
I saw you still alive, and kicking in the end. So
that needs to be like a stat. Like he does like this whole Superman franchise with the new film that came out, but Martin's in every single one of them as well. It's like, oh, this guy's in Superman in 6 movies. It's like, and Martin Harris is the same guy in all 6
that's
movies.
The goal. I mean, let's
speak it to existence.
Yeah, more. You know, like it's funny because I saw James Gunn talking about that.
Yeah.
That there will be implications. He didn't tell where and in which project. He said there will be implications of Hawkgirl killing the president of Moravia in the future.
Okay.
So I don't know what the implications are, but that kind of gives the hope that there will be more Moravia in the future somehow. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just think.
Maybe you could be the new president.
You take over as the military regime of the country.
Dictator for life.
That would be the dream.
Go work side by side with Lex Luthor as part of his security detail.
It can cut to you like you have like the ornate
or maybe I flip.
Yeah.
Or maybe I flip and I'm the good guy and now I'm working with Rick Flag. I don't know.
Yeah. The future is endless opportunities. So
exactly. I'll take either way. I was kind of a goofy general, like not necessarily a bad guy, like just doing the orders, but scared of the president. So there's a chance, because of the type of personality he wanted me to be as a Moravian general, as the head of the army, is kind of a scared and weak in front of the president.
You're just following orders.
There's a chance. Just following orders. So there's a chance for redemption. Arc here, there's a chance that he's not a bad guy and he's like, oh, I was just following orders, but I'm not going to follow the orders. Yeah. Superman, I'll follow the orders. Yeah.
I like it.
I'm more afraid of you, Mr. Superman. You wear your underwear outside your pants.
Mr. Flag, I'm all yours, Mr. Flag.
Well, what other projects you got coming out? Is there anything you want to plug?
There are a couple of projects I'm not working on, but I have this rule that until it's out, I don't want to jinx it, The first movie, because I didn't say that. So when I was still in the acting school, year 2, I booked a movie called Battleship.
Oh, yeah? Great classic movie.
And a very small part of a Russian newscaster. And I went there and I filmed it and went home. And then they used only 4, I think, out of 10 newscasters they cast. And so they cut me out of most. I think I'm in like Russian version of it, probably.
Yeah.
But for like 2 seconds. But that for me at that time, that was like so disappointing. And I told few people about it. So since then, I never tell until the movie comes out.
That's fair. And honestly, if you had to be cut out of one movie, that's all right. That Battleship.
Well, something we always like to ask everybody is there one person or I guess actor or director or anything that you've kind of left you kind of starstruck when you met them on
where
set
you're like,
or anything?
Holy crap, it's that person.
Did I want to be star? Well, Mick Jagger probably, or
no way.
Or
you got to meet Johnny Depp. I mean Mick Jagger.
David Gilmour.
Okay.
I would have lost it if I met David Gilmour.
Yeah.
Even Roger Waters. I love Roger Waters. Like obviously some of his political agenda could be polarizing, but I think he's a brilliant musician and his solo albums are great. I love his solo albums, and I think he's a great lyricist. The Animals is an incredible album, and that's mainly Roger Waters. The Wall is a great album. That's mainly Roger Waters. I think Final Cut is not a bad album. It's not the best album from Pink Floyd, and it's kind of not easy to listen. It's not one of the albums that I would put to relax.
Right.
But it's a good album. I love Roger Waters. I think all of them are great. Nick Mason is great too. You know, I would love to meet all of them.
Yeah, absolutely. When you met James Gunn the first time, did you know who you were meeting?
Oh, of course, yeah.
Oh, okay.
That was on set, yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, like, you know, like this dude's
unless I met him in one of those slow budget films and I don't remember that, then I would say I didn't. Yeah.
Yeah, he looks completely different. He's like that stark white hair now, you know, and the beard. Yeah. I remember when he was doing Guardians of the Galaxy 1, and he just looked like a completely different person back then. So it's interesting.
He went great at doing Superman.
Probably. It's stressful.
It's like you're going to do a Superman movie, all of his hair just changes color.
Running a franchise, I couldn't imagine.
Oh, wow. Talking about Star Trek, I'll give you like a little story. So before I even started acting, and I was such a huge James Bond fan, I remember Roger Moore came to Poland to sign his book, and I couldn't attend.
Oh.
But I told the PR person that I'm a huge fan. And she's like, okay, I'll see what I can do. And the next day, I went back to the store, and she had for me the DVD, The Man with the Golden Gun, signed by Roger Moore with a personal dedication with a golden pen.
Oh,
with a golden
wow.
pen.
That is awesome. Yeah, I bet you got that like encased in glass somewhere.
I figured it would be
I have it back in Poland. I have it, yeah.
Oh, wow.
I figured it was gonna be like a nice momentum story, but in like my head, I was picturing like, it'd be really funny. It's just like I told the PR person I'm a huge fan, and the next day I went there was nothing, and then I crashed my car, and then Roger Moore gets out of the limo I wrecked into, and he's like, "You hit my car, you idiot!" It's like James Bond.
Yeah, but you see, with Roger Moore is that he was never showing emotions. He was very stoic, James Bond. Like he would never like get upset and yell at people. Do you recognize that? That he never like Daniel Craig was that guy, the temper guy. He was the temper James Bond.
Yeah.
But Roger Moore never had a temper. He was always like deadpan, dark comedy. You know, like he was very stoic.
You stuffed my shoe.
Well, you can see why they went a different direction with Daniel Craig. You know, like they're trying to reinvent the wheel a little bit. And speaking,
they're just reinventing Timothy Dalton.
So what do you think about the next James Bond that they haven't officially casted yet? What direction should they go with that?
They should go with Martin.
Yeah, no, I would take the villain. I would love to take the villain. You know, it's in a way that what I did in Superman, it's kind of the sidekick to the villain. I would love to like have the role like I had on Superman in the James Bond movie.
Yeah.
Just maybe a little bit, you know, even more scenes. That would be great. Like to have this role of you know, like the Jaws or the Odd Job, you know, this sidekick to the villain. That would be great.
They should bring Jaws back. Yeah. I wonder what like a modern take on Jaws would be. I don't know. Do with braces.
Yeah, you see, with I wasn't a fan of Daniel Craig Bonds. Really, not his fault. He's a great actor. I like Casino Royale, but then the following up, I think they lost the James Bond
identity
genre a little bit.
Yeah,
identity. Yeah, you know, especially with the last one. I would love to see Henry Cavill as James Bond. I don't know if it's realistic, but I would love to see him as James Bond.
It would be cool.
I think everybody just is waiting for them to cast him. It's like, would you just give it to Henry so we can have it?
I don't think he wants it. I thought
he tried for it.
Why not?
He's busy with his Warhammer stuff and all of his nerd franchises he's trying to get off the ground. I don't think he wants to do James Bond. So.
That's a great actor. Really great actor. Although I think David Cornstalk is a better Superman.
Yeah.
But yeah. But hey, I'm a big fan of Henry Cavill.
I would have thought Tom Hardy would have been a good James Bond.
He's also getting up there too.
No, he's the villain. He's the villain type to me. Yeah, I don't think he'd be a great James Bond.
Yeah.
He would be the perfect villain for James Bond.
That is true.
Actually.
Be his sidekick.
Yeah, you can
not the sidekick. No, the main villain that counts him. You know?
All right.
You want to be Blofeld.
You know who was my favorite villain in James Bond movies? And it's not an obvious choice. And it's an actor who also kind of went in a strange direction in the last decade or two. My favorite James Bond villain was Sanchez in License to Kill, Robert Davi's character.
That is a good one.
Yeah.
Really good one. Really, really menacing.
With Benicio del Toro as a henchman.
That's true.
Benicio del Toro is fantastic.
I forgot all
fantastic.
That's where Bond goes on like a revenge spree because they kill Felix Leiter's wife and maim Felix Leiter.
Yeah. Very underrated film, and generally Timothy Dalton was very underrated Bond. Those two Bond movies with Timothy Dalton are very underrated in my opinion.
I think as far as
he was better than Brosnan in my opinion.
I think as far as actors go, he may not be my favorite James Bond, but I like Timothy Dalton the best. He does some of the funniest roles and the goofiest things you never see him do. You never think to see him in.
But he does it so well.
He does it so well. He knows the character. So
yeah, and those films are just good, in my opinion. You know, like I like the storyline in both the Living Daylights and License to Kill. I just rewatched Living Daylights. Those are good films.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very solid Bond.
Where the Pierce Brosnan movies, you know, and that's also not his fault because he was a good James Bond prototype.
Yeah,
it's just the storylines in those movies don't work for me. You know, it's too much going on. It's too confusing.
GoldenEye is like the Bond of our childhood. Good. So like GoldenEye was good. Tomorrow Never Dies.
It was a victim of the 90s where everything was so unrealistic and goofy. You know,
what's the second
too
one?
much. It's just too much.
Is that the second?
Tomorrow Never Dies is the second one.
Okay.
That's Die Another Day.
Die Another Day are not great.
Didn't work. Those two completely didn't work for me. Completely didn't work for me.
Surf sailing from the Arctic after like the super laser in space blew up a ice cap.
They jumped the iceberg. That's for sure. Yeah. So
although it had the most beautiful, probably James Bond girl of all time, Maria Grazia Cucinotta. Oh, yeah. She was in, I think, Die Another Day. But I remember there's one scene when he chases her on a boat, and then he sinks with the boat under the water and corrects his hair. Yeah. Sorry,
that's the most Bond thing to do. So stupid. But it's like you could just see. It's just like, yeah, that's classy.
Well, hey man,
it's like, come on.
It's been a pleasure. We've really enjoyed talking to you. And then when you do get casted as the next villain in James Bond, please don't forget about us. We'd love to get your take on it.
We'll do an interview with you, and then we'll do one of you in character.
Yeah.
How about we do? You know. For sure that happens, and let's plan it in like 3 years from now.
Yeah, absolutely. Or worst case scenario, we can all play Call of Duty together, and you can just yell.
There will be no worst. Yeah, there will be no worst case scenario. There's only good best case scenario.
I dig it. Well, thanks, Mr. Martin Harris. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Don't be a stranger. Okay.
Of course.